Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the internet's favorite show about plastic surgery, health, and beauty. This is Nip Talk. We got a great show for you today. First off, what are the 8 healthy habits that can add up to 24 years to your lifespan? We're going to tell you. Then, what happens when lightning strikes a human body? We're going to talk about that. And finally, Sarah's going to tell us about manifestation. Can't wait for that one. It's coming up right now.
Live from Lincoln Center in the heart of the Dallas Metroplex, this is Nip Talk. An honest and uncensored show about plastic surgery, health, beauty, and lifestyle with your host, plastic surgeon Dr. Bruce Herman, and your co-host, entrepreneur and social media influencer Sarah Bennett. Now it's time to discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of the topics everyone is talking about. It's time for Nip Talk.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Please leave us a like, a subscription, and leave us a comment. We want to hear from you. I'm your host, plastic surgeon Dr. Bruce Herman. With me, as always, is the wonderful Sarah. What's up, Sarah? How you doing today? And in the box today, Travis, I guess, is on vacation or out. We got Emilio. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, how are you,
Thanks
man?
for joining us, dude. We haven't had you before.
Of course. I'm excited to be on the
show.
show.
I hope we don't frighten you.
No, I always see Travis running the show. It always looks like a lot of fun, so I'm excited to be here today. Yes.
You missed a banger last week. We were talking about aliens, man.
Aliens are kind of weird to me, honestly. I believe in them. How can you not?
I think everyone now believes after all the news that came out.
The news is wild.
I want to see one, though.
I'd be too scared.
Like alive.
I want to see it. I have to see one.
What if they're alive?
I mean, I want to buy a beer. We talked about that.
I know, but it's like, if they're alive, they're like in prison or something.
Oh, right, they're captured. No, I want to see like a free roaming alien. I don't want it to be like in a zoo or something.
Yeah, I know. But shouldn't we just be like, all right, bye, don't.
It's funny that alien topic's so big.
If you come back, just please don't hurt us.
We can't stop talking about it. So, all right, did everybody have a good week? Sarah, good week? Yeah, nothing exciting happened? Still hot?
No.
It was really hot last week.
I'm trying to think of what is. I don't think I have. My birthday, I'm going to Nashville.
Yes.
I signed up for another CrossFit competition.
You did?
The one I do every year.
It's not in Nashville, right? You're doing the one here.
No, it's in Texas.
Are you ready for it?
I'm doing the RX version, which is like the max you can do, and I'm worried about it.
Are you?
I'm gonna have to practice.
Yeah.
Usually I don't practice for something like that.
I was doing CrossFit for a while. I haven't done it recently. I have got back into working out, which is good. But CrossFit was a lot of fun. We didn't do the competitions back when I was doing it.
I only do one a year.
I thought you did more than that.
I just do once because I think my personality is like I don't like competition. I'm like I just like to pretend that I'm just the best at everything.
You don't want to be proven wrong by not winning.
I'm just like I'm really good.
No, I would totally win this event. So I don't need to do it because I don't want to ruin it for everyone else, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
No, I know.
Confidence.
No, it's because I know that I'm gonna get like average or below average.
I can't imagine you. I've seen you your workout videos. You're like
they're really strong people. Like I think I'm really strong for my size, for being such a small person.
Yeah.
But I'm competing against people that are above average height.
But don't they do it by weight class?
No.
Oh, they don't? Oh, that's not really fair.
So I'll be my partner is probably 5'7". And which is 7 inches taller than me and can probably lift 80 to 100 pounds more than me. But she's my partner. But I'm also competing against, another set of girls that might be the same height.
Right.
And be able to lift the same.
They really should do it by some sort of weight class or something. You should suggest that.
Yeah.
We're going to change things this next time, courtesy of Sarah.
Yes.
So
a Sarah competition.
So I actually am leaving for vacation tomorrow.
Yes.
So we're heading to Nassau, which I'm pretty excited about.
What is it?
Nassau, the Bahamas.
I thought you said NASA. I was like, what?
We're going to Nassau to see the aliens.
Yeah, I'm like, who do you know?
No. We're my kids really so we go to that place Atlantis in the Bahamas. The kids love it, and actually, we're going on the cheap too because we had airline miles saved up, so we got our tickets for free with airline miles. And we were there, I guess, a year ago, and apparently I gambled when we were there. I didn't really remember it, but I mean they do have a casino.
You don't remember.
Well, I just didn't. I guess I
You're
did.
going wild over there.
Huh?
I said you're getting wild over there. Not
No,
drinking.
like if I gamble, I don't drink at all. Like
Okay,
to me, it's like work.
Business.
Business, right? But yeah, so they gave us 5 free nights at the hotel. Yeah.
Oh, because you won, or just because you were?
I guess just
spending
for the
money?
amount that I played or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was
Pretty
like
nice.
right. So like we're doing like family vacation. We don't have to pay for 2 nights at the hospital. I mean, we'll have to pay for food and stuff, but we got our airline tickets for free and we got 5 nights for free. That's a pretty good deal. I like a bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
I think a lot of people don't.
They're not our people.
I know, right? I love a
Not my people.
So anyway, yeah, I'm excited about that. So it'd be nice to get away, and it's always busy though, right before I'm about to leave. Like things get crazy and work, and then you get back and you're busy again. But
I don't have anything free for Nashville, unfortunately.
you don't have anything crazy going on?
No, besides going to Nashville for my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to.
But I don't have it. I don't have anything for free. I
Oh,
have
you
any
don't?
right- No.
Oh,
So I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
get. It's not a bargain.
Oh, well, next time.
It'll be fun though.
All right, so let's move into some topics today. So
Sure.
I saw an article that came out last week that was really interesting. It was talking about the 8 healthy habits that you can do to increase your lifespan by up to 24 years.
Nice.
That's a huge number, 24 years. Crazy
lot.
stuff. And I read the study, and it was presented at the 2023 nutrition meeting. And what's kind of cool about this is this study was actually done by a medical student, which I'm going to actually give her a shout out. Her name, and I hope I'm probably going to butcher this name. It's Zon Mai Win. She's a medical student. I forgot where she goes to med school, but I thought that was really cool because I did some studies as a resident, research papers,
Right.
and actual some data research. And I remember as a resident, I was like, am I really qualified to do this? But as a medical student, that's even more impressive. And so apparently she did this research and presented at this meeting. So good job, soon to be Dr. Wynn. So this is looking at, it's a little under 750,000 people. I think it's 720 or 730,000 people, and these people were in the VA system, so the Veterans Hospital.
Yeah.
Which is the nice thing about the VA system, and I worked at a VA hospital for 5 years, is that they have really good record keeping.
Yeah.
You know, it was all digital before digital was a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and so like the records are really good and they're shared between all the different hospitals. So it's actually a pretty nice source of looking at data. So what they did is they looked at, it was almost 750,000 people over the span of 8 years.
Okay.
And they looked at the lifestyle choices of these people and then determined which people were living longer, was there any correlation between the choices that people made and how long they lived?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the obvious answer is of course,
Yes.
right? I mean, there are.
I bet I know like the 2 biggest culprits too.
Okay, so before I'm gonna call you out on that, and
Okay.
you're gonna tell me how many you can think of. So in the study, for people who adopted all 8 of these habits versus people who did 0, the lifespan increase was 24 years for men and 23 years for women. And the other thing that's really cool about this is this looked at adoption later in life, in your 40s,
Yeah.
like my age. It wasn't that these people did these things from 18 years old on. They actually looked at adopting these things later in life, and that's more important, right? Because it's one thing to say, okay, if you do this one thing your entire life, you're going to live 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's another thing to say, hey, when you're middle-aged, if you just do this thing, you're going to live longer. And so
Yeah.
these things really have a lot of weight. So all right, well, come on. So what do you think?
If you don't drink and smoke.
That is actually 2 of them. Very, very good. So it's actually,
It's a big problem with military too.
what's that?
Drinking and smoking is a big problem.
Oh, in the military, yeah. Yeah, because you have some history of
Yes.
military family. Yeah, I remember you saying that. So not smoking, that's a big one. Now, as far as the alcohol goes, it actually was not regularly drinking alcohol excessively, which I was happy to see that.
That's nice.
It was nice because I do like an occasional bourbon, and so I feel like, okay, maybe I was gonna like check myself on these and say, okay, how am I doing on these? So not smoking, that's good. Yeah, I don't smoke, so I'm good on that one. Being physically active, that was an important one. So I feel like I'm pretty good on that one. I'm not. I know you're like super workout girl. We were just talking about your CrossFit. I think that you probably could destroy me in a CrossFit competition, but I think I'm doing okay for my age. I'm out there running and staying active.
Yeah, you're doing something. That's what counts.
Managing stress was one.
Yeah.
if you're overly stressed, it has been shown that does affect your long-term survival rate. Not regularly drinking alcohol excessively.
Yes.
We talked about that one.
Binge drinking.
Here's the one that I fail at miserably. Any idea?
Nutrition.
No, actually, that is on there. Wait. Oh, healthy diet. Yeah, healthy diet is on there. I'm actually pretty good on that one nowadays. Like, so as I got older, my metabolism started to slow down. I used to eat like crap. Like I would like go out to lunch and when I say eat bad, I would eat a lot.
Well, eating like crap not only affects your body, but it affects you like mentally and emotionally.
You think so? I was always really happy when I was eating a lot.
But that's because you didn't notice
that was
what was
weight.
happening. Yeah.
I didn't notice I was
but
going
when you
down
get when you get older, it definitely messes with you.
Totally. Well, it definitely made me add on pounds, and so
Yeah.
I used to go out for lunch. I love restaurants, and I like eating, at different ethnic foods and trying different things. And so when I would have, free times at lunch, I would go out and eat, these huge meals. And
You're
then
making me hungry just now.
I know. I suddenly realized I was gaining weight. I was like, okay. So now, for lunch, I typically eat like a deli sandwich or a salad or soup. It's terrible. I hate my life right now. Just kidding. I don't hate my life. But I did like it when I could eat whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And I can't do that anymore. But yeah, so maintaining a healthy diet. The one that I really do bad on is maintaining good sleep hygiene.
Oh.
Like I literally the other night fell asleep sitting at my computer while I was working, and I didn't wake up until like 5 a.m. I literally just slept in a chair sitting upright. Like that's probably not good for you.
No.
Yeah, I'm not really good at that. I'm kind of an insomniac. I don't sleep a whole lot anyway, and so I'll work late into the night, and then I just kind of fall asleep sitting up in a chair. It's not good. This is another one that was kind of interesting. Maintaining good social relationships. Having
Having a community.
Like a community, or just having that resource of what's the word? When you have good people around you to support you, support in your life. And lastly, this one is huge to me, and we've talked about this, is avoiding opioid addiction.
Yes.
We've talked about how fentanyl has really been kind of a problem in the past few years, and that goes beyond fentanyl, like narcotic pills. I mean, that fentanyl is a pill too, but like the less addictive things, than fentanyl, like Vicodin. Or
the stuff that you get prescribed after an injury, and then people get addicted to it.
So there are some of these that are more important than others, and you, I think you hit them. Well, you said smoking. That's number one. Smoking is obviously, for those who know, smoking is bad.
I feel like when you're in the military, there's so many things, they go through so many things that are mentally and emotionally stressful, and then
smoking's like a coping mechanism, maybe.
Yeah, it helps them with their anxiety. Drinking helps them with their anxiety.
Yeah.
It's like they are just constantly trying to figure out how to make themselves feel better in that moment, just to get it taken care of.
What's crazy is you don't see a lot of people
And
that
it's
smoke
sad.
these days. I mean, I'm I think 15 years older than you. When I was growing up, everyone smoked.
Yeah.
Everyone smoked.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going to restaurants and there was a smoking section. And now it's that doesn't exist. And when my daughter sees somebody smoke, she goes, gross. She's
really.
Disgusting. And I'm because it's that's how I am, really, honestly. I could never, I can't be around people that smoke. It's very hard for me.
Yeah, I mean, the smell. I remember going out when I was a kid. When I say kid, in late teens, early 20s, and you go out to a bar or something, you come back, you smell like a chimney because everyone was smoking in there. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, I just can't do it.
So the ones that are most effective in increasing your lifespan were not smoking, not using opioids, and getting exercise.
Nice.
That was the other one. Yeah, actually, so the people who did those things, so the people who didn't do those things, meaning they did smoke, they used opioids, or they didn't exercise, had a 30 to 45% increased risk of mortality over somebody who didn't annually. Mm-hmm. That's pretty crazy. That's huge. So the next most important ones were stress relief, not overly indulging in alcohol, having a good diet, and good sleep habits. Those, for people who didn't do those things, so that were on the bad side of those, 20 to 30% increased risk in death.
Yeah.
So not quite as high as the other one. The other one's about twice as high.
Yeah, and I would say coping with stress would be you could use exercise, going to therapy.
Right, you can knock out two of one.
Yeah.
Right? Exercise, relieve your stress. Yeah, that's good. See, look at you, smart. What was also interesting about these things that if you adopt some of them, it has a partial effect. So it's not like you have to do all 8. I mean, so for example, for me with my crappy sleep cycle, I'm probably doing pretty good on the lifespan thing because for the rest of these, I'm pretty good. So yeah, I probably have a pretty nice increase in my lifespan.
I think honestly, exercise probably has the most benefit because it's like if you really adopt a good exercise habit, it's like, well, if you want to get any better exercise or like
you're gonna have to stop smoking.
You're gonna have to stop smoking because you're not gonna be able to excel. You're gonna have to stop drinking so much because you're not gonna be able to excel in it. And then it just goes down.
My old CrossFit group would probably
and then it's like a big stress relief, and it's just like that whole like happy people exercise. Yeah. Exercise makes happy people.
I do feel better when I'm in exercise mode. There's times when I get out of it and I'm just like, oh.
And you just feel like crap.
Yeah, and then you go exercise and like you go outside and you run. And you're miserable when you do it, and you get done. You're like, I feel pretty good about myself.
You did something. You were productive.
Yeah, right. So, and as I said, also just to reiterate, so it is best to adopt these things as early as possible. But this study is actually looking at your 40s, and they said that even if you do it like later in life, like 60s, it still can increase your life, just not as much.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting stuff. What's that?
I said I can believe it.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that list, you're like, yeah, okay, this all makes sense. But it is nice to see an actual research study that did kind of the background math to figure out that, hey, if you do all these things, you can live 20 years longer.
Yeah, it's not too late to make life changes.
Exactly right.
Healthy life choices.
Be healthy, people.
Yeah.
Now you know how. It's all in here. Okay, moving on. So did you guys know that we are right in the peak time for lightning strikes? July and August. It's lightning strike time. Did you know that? Mm-mm. Yeah, actually, I did actually know that summer was more prevalent for lightning strikes because lightning strikes are most common when you have warm temperatures and you have humidity.
Okay.
Those are the kind of factors that you need to generate, the electricity in the sky and the ability to transmit it to the ground. And so July and August are peak months for lightning. And do you know what state has the most lightning strikes? I know you know this. Just say the state that comes to your mind.
I guess Texas.
Oh, no. What's the state you always talk about when we talk about bad things?
Florida.
Yeah, exactly. We love you, Florida. It's nothing personal.
I guess do people get struck by lightning there a lot?
Yeah, so Florida and Texas are the top two. Texas is the other one. I think Texas too because you have similar conditions of heat and humidity, but also the size of it. I think Florida is way ahead, like in per capita lightning strikes, but Texas has a lot too, I think just because of the size.
Yeah.
So every year there are estimated in the United States to be 40 million episodes of lightning striking the ground. Okay, not striking people, but striking the ground. Yeah. In that same year, about 300 to 400 people will actually be struck by lightning. So that makes that every year your chances of getting struck by lightning are about 1 in a million.
How many die?
So that's a great question. So I'm gonna ask you guys what you think. I was way off. So what I'm gonna ask you is, of the people who are struck by lightning, what percentage of them do you think die? And I'm gonna tell you I was wrong by a lot. So don't feel bad. Because whatever you're going to
25%.
25%? Amelia, what do you think, buddy? How many out of 100 people, if you get struck by lightning, how many are going to die?
Percent-wise?
Sure.
I think it is very small.
Okay.
I'm going to guess 10%.
Amelia, you are absolutely 100% correct.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you know that?
No, I just guessed.
He studies lightning.
You're very right. So I
do.
figured that, I thought that it was going to be more along the lines of 50%. Because just knowing how devastating lightning can be. But yeah, it's actually like 10%. So 90% of people that are struck by lightning survive. So every year you're looking at 20 to 40 people that die out of the 300 to 400 people that are struck. Yeah. So what's interesting about lightning, so all right, here's another question for you guys. Mm-hmm. Do you know how much power a lightning bolt generates?
No.
Like how many?
Volts?
Watts.
Watts?
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to say something that really is going to make me laugh.
What? No, I don't.
1.21 gigawatts.
So what does that compare to?
I can't even imagine that.
It's funny. I'm laughing because that's from like an old movie. Have you ever seen Back to the Future where they're talking about a bolt of lightning, 1.21 gigawatts? That's actually.
I don't know the line, but yeah, I've watched Back to the Future.
So it's
I have seen it too. Yeah.
So
but I don't
actually,
know like that.
the thing about lightning, so gigawatt is kind of like an average lightning strike. So that's billion watts. Okay. So for example, like the electricity in our house is 120 volts at 15 amps. So wattage, that's like 1800 watts, okay? Because you multiply volts times amps.
Yeah, like what's like the normal thing for like a light bulb?
It's like, well, it's like 40 watts.
Yeah, so that's like 40 times.
So this is 1.2 billion.
Dang.
Yeah, giga is billion.
So
but the crazy thing is that
billion light bulbs.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is
Crashing
that
on you.
that's just like the low end. Like the high end can actually be a terawatt.
Yeah.
So that's what, trillion?
Yeah.
Trillion watts. So we're talking about an insane amount of power, which is why I thought that the fatality rate would be much higher.
So this is like a side question about lightning.
Bring it.
Does lightning come from the ground or from the sky? There's like this weird thing.
So the lightning, the electricity charges up in the sky.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like a current going through a wire like that. It comes down to the ground. So it's discharging from up above.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like the electricity's on the ground.
I know, but like for some reason there was like this, I don't remember, like some kind of study that they were trying to find about that.
About how to predict lightning strikes?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I don't know why I would ask that if I didn't like see it somewhere.
Well, it is discharge. Well, you notice too when you see lightning,
It like almost looks like it's like
coming
you don't
down.
know where it's like.
You don't know where it's originating from?
Yeah, like sometimes it looks like it's coming from the ground.
It
Sometimes
almost looks
like
instantaneous, though.
Yeah, like it looks like it's just like, I don't know.
So I have another question for you guys. How close have you been to a lightning strike? Have you ever seen one like really up close?
No.
I've seen some like out in the distance. That's about it. And I've never been like this close to
I'm
one.
gonna tell you guys a story, and this is gonna sound unbelievable because I don't even believe it myself, but this is absolutely a true story. So when I was younger, I was like a teenager, and I was in the car with my parents, and it was kind of storming, you know, and there was like lightning off in the distance, and I asked my mom, I can't remember if it was my mom or my dad. I said, "How close have you been to a lightning strike?" And I'm not exaggerating, and I was old enough that I remember this pretty accurately. Like within a few seconds, lightning struck a telephone pole like right next to us.
Oh my
nice.
gosh.
And my parents were like,
That close.
That close.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was the weirdest thing ever. Like that is a
That's
true
insane.
story. I don't know if my parents remember that.
Does
but
lightning strike the same spot twice?
It can, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
That's like
Yeah, sometimes
that's like
you'll
a
see it
myth.
go clack, clack, crack, crack. So, I actually have treated a lightning strike victim. They're very, very. There's only 300 to 400 per year. So, as a doctor, when I was in training, it was in Kentucky. There was a guy on a motorcycle that got struck by lightning, and so when he got hit, he sustained injury from the lightning, but then he crashed his motorcycle, and so he was a trauma patient.
Yeah.
And so at the time I was general and trauma surgery, and so we had this guy come in that had gotten struck by lightning, and
Scary.
yeah, crazy stuff. So fortunately for him, he got, let's see, what's the proper word for it? He got mostly flashover, which means the lightning went around him instead of through his body.
Okay.
And so he did have an entry-exit wound for the lightning, but his internal organs were mostly okay. Most of his injuries were due to the motorcycle crash.
Yeah.
And he ended up living, like he ended up surviving, so he didn't die, which was great.
Yeah,
But that's kind of like unfortunate to get struck by lightning when you're riding a motorcycle and you know having a crash. That's like a double whammy. But so I just want to talk a little bit about like what happens to people like when you get struck by lightning.
that's what I'm interested in. Like
Yeah.
what?
So there's actually
symptoms?
5 types of lightning strikes that can
Okay.
happen to a person. I didn't know this. I learned this. This is news to me. So the first would be like a direct strike. So you're standing out in the open and lightning comes from the sky and hits you in the head or whatever. So that's a direct strike. It's the most deadly because it has the greatest amount of current.
Okay.
But fortunately, it's not the most common. So the next type would be a side flash. So a side flash would be if you're standing next to a tree and lightning strikes the tree and you know the electricity just keeps going and it jumps from the tree to you. So that's like called a side flash. The next one, which is the most common, is called a ground current. So that's where, like, say, we're standing here, and then across the room, lightning strikes the ground, and then the lightning comes through the ground and hits us.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't hit us directly, and it doesn't jump to us, but it goes into the ground and hits us. And they say that's the most common type of lightning strike, which is good because a lot of the energy of the lightning then gets dissipated from
Yeah,
where
it's
it's
not as strong.
right. So you're not getting like the full 1.21 gigawatts of lightning. Next would be conduction. So that's if you're like on something metal that gets struck by lightning. So say you're on the bleachers at a football game, and the top of the bleacher got struck by lightning, then that electricity would go all through the metal and then hit you. And lastly is called streamers. I've never heard of this one. So streamers is when lightning jumps multiple things. So it might hit a tree, hit a fence, hit the ground, then hit you. And obviously that one's going to be least because it has the most amount of dissipation of that energy. So when lightning does strike the body, obviously it can be very, very detrimental to your well-being. There's two things that get you when lightning strikes you. There's the thermal energy, and then there's the electricity itself. So the thermal energy can be pretty intense. It's said that the area around a lightning strike can get as hot as 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hotter than the surface of the sun. So one of the things that can happen when you get hit by lightning is you can actually have burns from the massive heat that's generated. The other thing that thermal energy can do is create a shock wave. So you hear when people get struck by lightning and they get thrown, like that's a real thing. Like when the air gets superheated, it makes like a shock wave, almost like an explosion.
Yeah.
And so it can actually throw you, like say you're on a motorcycle.
In the
get
movies.
thrown off. Yeah, right. So that's a real thing. But really what's the most damaging, because most people don't necessarily die of the thermal energy. It's not what gets them. What gets them is actually the electricity running through their body. And this is where things get kind of complicated, because the path that the lightning takes is going to depend on a lot of factors, like what you're wearing. Are you wet? Because electricity wants to take the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is something that conducts, and that way the energy passes through as opposed to getting absorbed. Because when lightning goes into your body, then that power damages things. Like it damages your nerves. It damages your blood vessel. It can make your blood vessels just burst. It can make your big organs like your liver, your spleen burst. So when that happens, and that when that electrical energy goes through your body instead of like around it on your skin, which is called the flashover, that's when people really take a lot of damage. And it can also stop your heart. Your heart runs on an electrical system. And I'm sure you guys have heard of a defibrillator, right?
Yeah.
The beep, to stop the heart, to get it to reboot. The lightning it almost acts like that defibrillator, where it can stop your heart, but it also will depolarize it to the point that it may or may not start again. So a lot of people that get struck by lightning, where it actually passes through their body, would need CPR, to kind of get their heart beating for them until things
I would imagine it gets like brain damage too, doesn't it?
I'm sure you can, yeah. Well, it messes with nerves, so like
Yeah.
your brain, your spinal cord is one big nerve.
That's our electrical current.
Right. So so the electricity is going to go through things like blood vessels. Like it's going to through muscle. It doesn't want to go through that. That's like more resistance, right? It wants to take the path of least resistance. But yeah, the biggest risk of death with lightning is one, the type of strike. If you get struck directly, like you're in trouble. Like that's not good at all. But fortunately, that's not the most common at all. It's much more common that it's going to strike something next to you and then hit you, or it's going to strike the ground around you and then you get some. And that way you're not getting that full, billion watts of energy coming through you. But then from there, the next question is the lightning going to come around you, come through your skin, like on the top of your skin, or is it going to go through your organs? And as far as how you treat lightning strikes, it just really depends on what happened to them. A lot of people do have will go into cardiac arrest, and would need to have resuscitation to get them back together. And then from there, it's just dealing with the damage. Like, did blood vessels burst? Did they have a ruptured spleen? Did they have a ruptured liver? Are they paralyzed? Because it can actually fry the nerves.
Yeah.
Is there muscle death? Are there thermal burns? With lightning, there's just a lot of different things that you have to treat. And it is something that's pretty rare. I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't say I'm lucky. I'd say it's unusual that in my career I've actually seen someone struck by lightning, because there's only a couple 100 to 300 per year.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the one I saw was actually pretty mild. Really, his injuries are more related to the fact that he crashed his motorcycle. But yeah, it's kind of wild stuff to think about, just how powerful lightning is. And as far as being safe with lightning, obviously don't be outside when it's thunderstorming.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
that
the
whole,
big
like,
one.
you know,
Men are much more likely to get struck by lightning.
because they like to go outside and look at storms.
Yeah, like play golf in the rain, hold up a golf club. Yeah.
Every time it was like tornado warning, y'all go in the closet, and he'd be out there in the front yard just
with
like
his camera, like, where's the tornado? But yeah, crazy stuff.
wondering.
So lightning, be careful. Don't let it strike you. It's bad for you. So
Yeah.
if you have any
Who'd have
comments
thought?
about lightning, please leave us a comment. Love to hear from you. All right, Sarah,
Yeah, it's
you're going to
my
talk to us
turn.
about manifesting, right?
Yeah, because like a couple episodes ago, we talked about mindfulness, and I think manifesting has a lot to do with mindfulness.
Okay, so talk to me like I'm a child and just tell me, okay, so manifesting, what does that mean?
So I have slides. Can
Oh, you have
put up
slides.
the
Okay.
first one?
Let's see the first one.
That's for beginners. Okay, that's what I made. I made it for you.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
next slide, please. So manifesting is the process of using your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs to attract and create the life you desire.
Okay, so this is making things happen by
By mindfulness,
mindfulness. Okay.
pretty much. So it's about focusing your energy on specific goals or intentions with then aligns to the universe to help you achieve them.
Okay. I'm in.
So you're putting your dreams out there, and you're making specific goals to get there.
So instead of just kind of wandering through life, we're going to say, okay, I want to do X.
Yeah, instead of saying I wish I could be a doctor, you say I'm going to be a doctor, and these are the steps that I'm going to take to get
Right.
there.
Like Yoda said, what do or do not, there is no try, right?
I don't know.
Yoda did say that.
Oh, I don't know. I love Star Wars, but I don't remember that.
Yeah.
But okay, next, and then so we're going to talk about the benefits, of course.
Okay.
There are
So
benefits.
if we use these tactics you're about to tell us, then you're telling me that the research shows that things will happen for us easier. Is that true, or is that not true?
It shows that your goals will be more attainable.
More obtainable. So it does help.
Yes.
So we're saying it helps. Okay. All right.
Yes.
I'm on board.
So next slide. This is about the benefits.
Okay.
So number one, gain clarity, and that's just what are your goals, and what matters to you truly.
So that's like laying out like what we're gonna do. So we're putting it into words or into maybe like a document, like a to-do list. Okay, all right.
This is the benefits. It just makes you in your life. It allows you to gain clarity. Like what?
Oh,
it
I
allows
see. Okay,
you-
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
it just
misunderstood.
allows you to realize what's really
Got it.
important to you
Okay, I understand. Sorry,
and what you really want out of life, and not just like going through the motions.
Okay.
You know,
Which is easy to do. You get caught up in the daily routine.
the
Yeah.
mundane.
Yeah, I totally understand. All right.
Number two, positive mindset. So this is encouraging you to believe in your potential, and it allows you to boost your self-confidence by just believing in yourself and not
I think that's super important.
and not being like,
Yeah.
I want to be a doctor, but saying like I'll never be one
Right.
because of
Say,
this.
I'm
and this
going
and this.
to do
like
this.
making excuses. You know.
Right. Okay.
Number three, it allows you to become focused and motivated.
Which definitely helps in obtaining goals.
Yeah.
Without
And so if you do those two steps that we talked about, the benefits of it, it makes you more focused and motivated. If you
Got it.
if you gain that clarity, and it just allows you to just have more focus and motivation because you believe in yourself.
Got it?
And then that also leads to success and fulfillment right there. So it's kind of like what we talked about last time. It's like if you have about exercise and how it helps your life,
Right. Yeah.
the VA thing.
Got
If you do one thing, it's going to lead to all the others. And then that allows you to reduce stress and anxiety. from
Okay.
there.
So there's a lot
if
of
you-
benefits to this
Yeah.
to manifesting. Okay. So I assume you're gonna tell us how to do that.
Yes.
Okay. I'm ready.
Next slide.
I'm not even sure. I mean, I guess. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say make a list. So I
Yeah.
like to make lists.
So how to manifest. Clarify your desires. I thought that said designs. I was like, that's a huge typo. But so for me, I like to write my goals down.
I do
But
too.
other people, they're more verbal. So maybe if you say them every day, like if you,
Okay.
like there's times during the day that you're
Right.
like, I want to do this.
I'm gonna start a new business.
Yeah.
Or. you know,
I'm
just say-
going to. My
I'm
business
going
will be
to.
profitable.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
don't.
stuff like that.
It's not. I hope. It's like I'm gonna.
It
do
is,
this.
and it will. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next one is visualize your goals. And to that, it's like, how does it make you feel? Like visualize how that goal, if you attained it, like how would it make you feel? What would it do for you? Think about your surroundings, what it would bring to you, people, places, things, like
Gotcha.
stuff that you can see.
Right. So realize what your life would be like if you obtain X, Y, or Z.
Like where you would be, who would be with you, what you'd
Got it.
feel, all of that. And then the next one is use positive affirmations. So some examples of positive affirmations are, I just listed 3 big ones. I am capable of achieving anything I set my mind to. And the next one is, I deserve success and abundance in all areas of my life, and I am worthy of love and respect.
I think having a positive attitude is just critical for really anything that you want to do.
Because it's so easy to be negative.
It is, yeah. I think
It's the easiest
it's easy to
thing.
fall into that trap of like, oh, I can't do this,
Yeah.
or this is not going to happen. And it does
The
affect.
path of least resistance.
Yeah, I think it does absolutely affect your ability to do stuff. So I'm totally on board so far.
Yeah. And then practice gratitude daily. So that's pretty much just being thankful for what you already have.
It's good. I like that.
And just being, and
I mean, it gives you a positive mindset, and to be thankful for the things you have is going to overall put you in a better spot, I think, to accomplish more goals.
yeah, and just being open to achieving more from there.
Yeah.
Because if you're happy, there's nothing
Right.
stopping you from being
Yeah.
more happy.
I got you.
And then staying open to opportunities. And when I first read that, I was like, so what if like you just say yes to everything? And no, that's not it.
Okay.
It's you say yes to things that align to those goals that you
Gotcha.
set for yourself and those specific things you want to.
And I guess with like not being afraid to take some risks.
Yeah.
Being there. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So embrace. It just means embrace change, acknowledge your fears, but figure out a way to get past them and continuing to explore different ways to get to your goal. Like there's no one way to get.
Right.
Like everybody has a story. You don't
Right.
have to follow somebody else's story.
Exactly. You can make your own path.
Yeah. And then the last one is just being patient and consistent, and I think that goes with anything that you're trying
Yeah.
to
Don't give up.
attain. Yeah. Just realize things take time
Right.
and be patient with yourself.
Yeah. It's just like doing a podcast.
Yeah. And
Takes time.
I think mindfulness had so much to do with this topic because mindfulness is all about living in the moment.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
being thankful for the things around you, and that's definitely one of
I haven't
the-
read that book yet.
the pillars of manifesting.
That book. I'm gonna buy that. Do you have the mindfulness book?
No.
I'm gonna buy it for myself. And,
I'd be interested to do like a book on like a.
Oh, you do book on tapes?
Yeah, I think I'd rather listen to it. I bet they'd have some cool ones about like sitting there, like, okay, think about what you want and like.
Oh
like
yeah,
when
so
you're
like an
driving.
interactive one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that would be cool. I just really appreciate the feel of a book, like my hands. I like that. I mean, maybe I'm just old school, but then I like I put it on my shelf, like I read this book. Versus
Yes.
like it's all digital.
Yeah.
I used to listen to a lot of books on tape.
My
when I was
sister used to
traveling.
always, when she'd buy a new book, she'd smell it. Like a new book smell.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's like a new car.
I can
but
always
like a
tell that like whenever you buy a library book.
Yeah.
They have a certain smell.
book. Doesn't the library book smell musty because they're
Yeah.
old? Yeah, it's a little bit different.
They smell weird.
Well,
That's manifesting.
I think that's great. It goes really good with the mindfulness. And honestly, I mean, all the things you talk about are, I don't know if I would have called it manifesting, but like all the things about positive attitude, consistency, being open to risk and opportunity. I mean, I think those are all like amazing things.
I think it's those positive things because it's like that whole, if you say something enough, like if you say, I'm not strong, like if I keep saying I'm not strong enough, eventually that's going to become who I am.
Right,
No, Sarah isn't strong enough actually.
Yeah,
It's because I've
it's like
said
you're
it
making
enough.
it come true
And
by.
Yeah.
So you need to do the opposite and be like, I can do this, or
Yes.
I am going to do this.
Yeah, I have the ability.
Yeah.
I'm just not there yet.
I like it. That's a really positive message, and I think and as you said, it's really easy to fall into the other side of it, where
Being negative.
like being negative
Super
and
easy.
like everything sucks and I can't do this.
Yeah.
The world's against me.
Take control of your life and
Yeah.
stop being a victim.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
That's an awesome topic. Thank you. I love your topics. They're amazing. What was the one that you said you wanted to do one about? What was it? There's nothing you want to do. Oh, about the cold, right?
Yes, the hot and cold therapy.
We'll have to, right, we're going to
Yes.
do that one. Or you're going to do that one
Yes.
sometime in the future. We'll look forward to that. Well, thank you so much. I love your topics. I think that's great and a great message.
Thanks.
I think that's about all the time we got for today. Please leave us a comment, leave us a like and subscription. It really helps us out. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week on Nip Talk.